The following Toku Podcastu contains spoilers from both past and present Tokusatsu, anime, manga, movies and other related media. If you do not wish to be spoiled, we suggest turning off the podcast now. Otherwise, please enjoy the show.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Toku Podcast, the best show about Tokusatsu you probably never heard of. As always, I am AJ, that's Jay.
What's up?
And we were the only two who had the patience to sit through this fucking show. You're welcome.
I wanted to watch.
So,
I've been waiting.
Okay, so, quick backstory on Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. So, I remember watching this as a kid because I was really into, like, you know, the Power Rangers and shit. And my dad, he used to just buy me, like, anything that looked like it. Which is why I got into, like, Mystic Knight of Tiranagi, or whatever the fuck it was called.
Teriyaki.
And this. I think I still have a VHS of this somewhere. I don't know where, but I believe it's the first 4 episodes. So, I believe it's around here somewhere. Wherever it is, I don't know. I'll probably find it and maybe post a picture of it. Maybe I'll use it as a thumbnail. So, that's my history of that. I knew nothing about what this show was other than it existed. So, let's just get into this because I have surprisingly a little bit to say about this show and how, and I'll just say it right now, it's not actually as bad as people remember it. Like, honestly, not really.
No, I mean that's like the strangest thing is that it's like out of the many American Toku shows that tried to cash in on Power Rangers back in the 90s. It is by and far probably the best one that I can remember. I haven't seen Tiranagi, so I know a lot of people say that's like unironically good, so I don't know.
Maybe we should watch that.
Maybe somebody put it on the wheel. Maybe we can do that sometime. It'd be
Fuck
worth
yeah.
it. But of, you know, all the ones that Saban did, like fucking Beetleborgs and fucking...
I'll say this right now, it's a hell of a lot better than fucking Beetleborgs.
Oh, absolutely. It has...
Shit, Beetleborgs was garbage.
It inversely has a significantly lower budget than all of them, but it's probably the best, like, I don't know, Power Rangers knockoff, quote unquote, that
It's
exists.
funny because not only is it like the best Power Rangers knockoff, it's, I mean, to me, it's probably the best Ultraman thing we had in America up to this point.
I mean, excluding the old dubs of like original stuff, yeah, I mean, it really is, considering there wasn't a whole lot, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, but like it was a good way. It's a good gateway into Ultra. Like for that time period, fuck yeah. Like honest to God, watching this show, I was actually dreading it, especially since episode 1 is kind of crap. But it got way fucking better. Like everybody got way better. The actors got way better. Like towards the end, like and keep in mind we only watched up to episode 39, and
Well,
I don't know.
AJ did. I tried to watch a little bit more after that. I kind of got to the point where I'm like, okay, this is more of the same. I don't feel like watching the rest of it, and I kind of picked some episodes here and there after 39. But we mostly did it because
the main reason for that though is because the main reason for that, and I know Jay has said this before, that after episode 39 they literally just used the same footage, only swap, like reversed.
Well, not that that's a thing because the show already fucking does that before that point. So
true, but it does it even worse. And not only that, but episode 39, from what everything I've read and from what Jay's told me, was supposed to be the ending.
yeah.
I treat it as that. It's just the cliffhanger at the end is just the one that it's the only reason that you think there's more. But if you ignore the cliffhanger, nah.
Well, it's not so much a cliffhanger as a massive, absolutely obtusely shoehorned in fucking reset button.
Please watch the next episode, guys.
We're not over, even though this is very clearly a finale and things are over. But it's all fine at the last
It was a
second,
two-parter. It's a fucking two-parter.
It's a two-parter. That's how
they
you
had
know
the
it's
budget
supposed-
for a two-parter.
That's how you know it's supposed to be the last episode. It's a two-parter, you know? That's just the rule of 90s shows, is that if you have a two-part episode, it's either the season finale or the final episode of the show. It was,
Yeah.
it's just the
So
law.
let's actually talk about the show itself because again, watching it over, it's again honestly, it's not as bad as everyone says. It's actually a little better. But let's start with like the actual American stuff first before we get to Japanese because I've never watched Gridman. I'm putting that out right now. I've never watched Gridman like the original, so I don't know how much this changes or who knows how much it changes. I mean, I'm pretty sure it changes the fuck ton because back in the 90s we didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody can tell us, or maybe I'll watch Gridman one of these days if it lands on the wheel just to see. I know Gridman is, about the same or a little bit longer than this one?
Gridman is 39 episodes, so that's why I was like, well, let's pick it, 39 of this show.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Even balance.
Yeah, that makes more sense to me. But, so, excuse me. So, let's talk about the American stuff. So we got a few, starting with, like, the main actors, Sam, Tank, Amp, and Sydney. I actually remember their names. That's actually a compliment.
Yeah.
I liked them all. Honestly, it took me a while to get into them, but I liked them. They're stereotypes, but in the way where I'm just like, okay, I can get with this. This is the 90s, and they are very obviously fucking 90s.
Yeah, they're fine. They're super duper one note, as to be expected with these kinds of shows. Sam is, I'm the cool kid. And I need the girlfriend.
Bruh, I am totally like fucking surfer, bro.
It's funny you say that. I'll bring up reasons why. There's the stereotypical jock kid. There's the smart kid, and also the girl. They couldn't afford 5
But Jay,
characters.
this show was progressive in the sense that they were not in a clique where they had to. This was more progressive than Forze because they all started in a clique in Forze. This one, you have the nerd, the cool kid, the jock, and the weird fucker already friends.
Mm.
And that's weird because I didn't expect that. You expect like all of them have to become friends at one point, like basically like how Forze did it.
Not really, because that's kind of just the standard for these kinds of 90s shows. Is that all of the characters are friends already at the beginning, so we don't have to worry about any kind of. Like,
I mean, in Power Rangers it made sense because they were all like martial arts gymnast fucks, like they all had that. But here, what do they actually have in common? Besides, the show,
they're a rock
into the
band
show.
that they never actually play any music for.
They do, but they don't actually sing a fucking note.
Yeah, they fucking play like 2 seconds of a song and that's it.
Don't you love how they have an entire episode where Sam is like, "Oh God, I gotta make this fucking lyrics, bro," and there's
I
no
gotta
fucking
write my
lyrics. They don't
song
sing
for my
a
not
single
girlfriend, and we have to get to the prom or whatever the fuck at the school, and we gotta play
and then
the
it
song.
turns out like they don't even sing the song.
They never fucking we never see them play the song.
They play half a second of a note, and they're just like, "No budget, get out of here."
We can't afford guitar lessons, guys. All right, we just need to play the note. That's it. You just need the one.
They had enough not Ron Wasserman to fucking do it with.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing this show has above like fucking Master Rider and stuff. It has insert songs. They're not good.
Like,
but
well,
it has them.
You know what? I will unironically say that there's one guilty pleasure here. And it's the Electro Warriors one. I don't know why, but it got stuck in my head.
How did I know you were going to say that one? Because that's like, okay, that's...
I don't know why. That one got stuck in my head, and for some reason I'm actually into it.
Because I was going to say, I mean, it is the least awful, even though it's the same 2 words over and over and over and over
Electro
again.
Warriors! It's fucking great.
It gets to the point where, like, is this supposed to be looping? Is there something wrong with the episode?
They got not Ron Wasserman to do a 30-second loop, and that's all they had. They put it in 90s Audacity. I don't know what it was in the 90s. They put it in 90s Audacity and just hope for the best. Oh, my God. But, yeah, so we have them. They're all pretty all right. I like I said, I liked most of them. I thought I was going to be really fucking annoyed with Amp, but I wasn't. Like, you would think, like, usually the quirky character is usually the most hated for me in any show ever, but he was alright. Like, he didn't overstay it, which kind of brings it into a theory, but I'll get into that once we go through all the characters, because now we got to talk about, like, the side characters, like Sam's
what side
girlfriend.
characters? There's 3 side characters because they couldn't
Well,
afford more.
there's the lunch lady. There's the principal. There's fucking Sam's girlfriend. She's the only one whose name I didn't remember.
I think it was Jennifer, Jessica.
Jennifer Doyle. There you go. Actually, I think they changed her name a couple times in the show.
They might have. I kind of stopped paying.
They might have. It starts with a J. It don't matter.
Pretty much. It's some kind of J name. I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
We had Miss Starsky and Mr. Pataxi, something like that. Something with a P. And every once in a while, you had Jennifer's other friend, who's the daughter of the principal.
The principal's daughter, because we need some nepotism in this show.
Which didn't even really matter because it's not like it came into play.
No, there's a couple episodes, but even then, it doesn't really. Well, okay. No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it really didn't come into play. So.
Yeah. And then there's there's the on occasion like news reporter whenever we need to talk about
oh yeah, she was
the villains
weird.
are doing
it looked like they used okay, maybe it was just me, but did she seem like she was using the same exact like news background as the fucking dinosaur show?
It probably was. This show is too
it looked exactly like it. It's like maybe if you look closely you can see like the corner of one of the puppets. It's like, get it out of the screen.
Honestly, I always love whenever they showed the news reports because they couldn't afford to like shoot footage of civilians in panic or anything, so we just have the news reporter just like talking about what's happening and describing the...
I don't know what fucking city they live in to keep saying, look what's happening in Japan. It's like, who the fuck cares?
Oh, that's my favorite part of the show, and I'm going to give them credit for doing this too, is that anytime they actually have to show footage of like civilians panicking, they use Gridman footage, but they don't try to pass it off as like, oh, here's average American citizen in average American town.
Oh wow, this Californian city has a very high rate of Japanese people.
No, they're outright blatant. It's like, look, it's what happened. It's even happening in Japan, guys. See, look at all these Japanese.
And it happens so often that it's kind of like it kind of endears me. I'm just like, that's adorable. You're adorable. This is awesome.
See, I'm going to assume it's because if memory serves correct, Tsuburaya had a little bit more hands-on with the production than Toei usually did with Saban, so I assume that's their doing.
That would
maybe.
make sense with how much they have.
Especially because they don't do it like every episode like Power Rangers used to do.
Let's also not forget Sam's little sister, who I just realized was Phil and Lil from Rugrats.
Sam has his generic hero big little sister character that's annoying and is a brat and blah blah blah.
But is never shown.
We never see her, mostly because she's voiced by Kath Soucie, who's like 30 years old when this show was on, so it's kind of awkward.
You just have her stand on her knees and put like shoes underneath her knees, and there you go.
And it's really funny too because like obviously she never ever appears on screen, and they keep trying to work her into the plot. But whenever they have to, it's like they always go out of their way to make it so that we never see her. There's this one really, really awkward point where it's like she actually goes down to like the garage or basement, like the hero hangout, and the camera's always at these weird fucking angles, so we never see her. It's hilarious.
It's so awkward, but honestly, I kind of liked her too. I don't know why. There was something endearing about her character as well. It's just like, it's kind of a play on like it's a good little twist on the little sister that you never see her really, and she's just dumping shit from the fucking garbage chute.
I assume it's the usual pest younger sibling trope, and it's
weird because like they never really did that like too much to show her as a pest. It was more like, here's just something random for the kids to remember about the little sister. She exists.
Pretty much. It's usually in the form of, hey, big brother, do you want to do a thing? It's like, not really, no, fuck off, I hate you. And then throws down something and hits him in the head. And then she threatens to kill her.
Hey, big brother, do you want some ice cream? Oh, do you want a chocolate cake? Yeah, sure. She just drops the fucking dough down there.
Like, Mom won't let me
They won't allow me to use the oven. I
isn't that like the first episode, too? I love it.
No, that was I think that was like the third one because I remember the food one, the one where they ran out of food. That was the one where like she just threw a bunch of fucking burnt waffles down the fucking chute.
Yeah.
I fucking I love the little sister. She's great.
Yeah, the main four is fine. I kind of hated Amp near the end because he has the one good line like every other episode, and it's just it kind of drags, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, he does kind of become one. But again, it comes into a theory, but I'll get into that once we finish all the characters. So, now we get to the villains. And the best character in the entire show, fucking Malcolm, what's his name?
Malcolm Frink.
Malcolm
evil
Frink.
computer hacker who's a weirdo, pasty
I
nerd.
absolutely love this guy. I don't know if I don't think he actually is doing anything anymore, but god damn it, he should.
From what I've seen,
holy
he's
fuck.
pretty much off the radar. He's popped up every now and then, but he's basically gone. He hasn't done anything. Which is a shame because he is the best part of the show.
Oh, he is. He is a fucking ham. Like fucking stuffed roast ham, bro. It's fucking amazing.
He's
I love this guy.
Honestly, you know what the weirdest thing is? I'm going to say this, and I'm glad he's not here because I don't want to hear his reaction. He kind of reminds me of Phil a little bit.
Oh my god.
You see it too, don't you? Like I pointed out, he's got a lot of the same mannerisms.
Except without the
and,
lisp.
personality.
Except without the lisps.
Without the lisp, and also, you know, the whole working with fucking robot Satan, you know.
Well, as we know of.
Well, yeah, that's true. Phil hasn't told us that he's not working with robot Satan, so how do we know?
I can kind of see it. But honestly, this guy, like, he's just great. He's just a great fucking character, and I don't know, like, if he did anything beforehand, but god damn it, he's amazing. Like, he's honestly one of the funniest fucking parts of the show every time he's on screen, because he's so immaturely evil that it just works. And again, that weird little thing, I don't know if he actually talks like that, or if that's just what he put on for the character, like, There's one episode where, due to shenanigans, he's like a normal person, and he talks like a normal person, so I think it's just the character. That's so weird, though. Like, did the director be like, we need something evil? What if I talk like Elmer Fudd? Excellent!
I mean, hey,
like, I just talk like Elmer Fudd. It does. Okay, well, computer crash a computer virus. I'm like, it's adorable. You're adorable, kid.
Yeah, he's the best character. He's just so hilariously petty, and a lot of that comes from how they integrate the Gridman footage and plot lines too, because his counterpart Takeshi in Gridman is also an incredibly petty little shit who is constantly doing the most evil things for no reason.
Like, there's only 2 times in the entire show where he doesn't want to do something evil, and it's kind of understandable. The first time was because it would shoot nukes into the fucking atmosphere and start World War III.
Yeah.
This was in the 90s, guys. Remember this.
This was 1994. And there's a kid's show about where the villain is going to nuke the fucking planet. Like, god damn.
And the only other time he kind of seems a little like not on board is the last episode where he's like, oh shit, Kilocon's gonna kill me, fuck that.
Oh yeah, that's because he got turned on naturally. And again, that's kind of the same thing in Gridman there, where admittedly it's a little different in context, but Takeshi is also like super duper obsessive and like willing to do whatever the hell Khan wants him to do, except for like 1 or 2 instances where he's like, hell no, man, I'm not doing that.
Though I will say, the last episode did kind of get me a little sympathetic for Malcolm when he's just like, he likes me, he's my friend. I'm like, oh.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. It's that the show pretty much the show points it out pretty frequently. It's like the only reason he's evil is because he's lonely, and also because everybody hates him because he's constantly an asshole because he's lonely. It's the vicious cycle.
Yeah. It's kind of sad watching it. It's kind of really fucking depressing. Especially, like, the way he dresses and shit. I'm just like,
Like,
Man,
again,
I can hear pumped up Kips from a fucking mile.
Again, you can tell this was before, like, Columbine and shit, because he's constantly dressed in, like, pitch black clothing and, like, long jacket and everything like that. Like, good.
He wears a hoodie over a button-up shirt and tie. What a fucking dork.
And he makes it work.
He does. Again, like, there's, like, the one episode I remember when Tank, he gets the fucking hot dog and he spills it on his face. Just his little tantrum. It's hilarious. I hope you won't starve.
And that kind of cycles into how the plots are, where half the fucking where literally almost every episode except for like 2 or 3 is, oh, something mildly inconvenienced me. I'm gonna send a virus monster to fuck with everybody on the entire planet because. Granted,
this guy dropped his hot dog on my face. I'm gonna make everyone die of starvation.
Granted, half the time it's, oh, Sam and his friends are doing something. Well, I'm gonna send a virus to be incredibly overly petty just to mess with them and them alone. And it's gotta be like,
I think, and it's usually KiloCon just being like, I'll just do everything then. Just kill everyone.
KiloCon's just like, how about instead of that, we do that but bigger? And Malcolm's like, no, I want to do this, so we're gonna do this. It's like, alright, fine, whatever. And then he does it anyways.
We forgot to mention KiloCon, aka Tim Curry on his weekends.
Yeah, so the actual big bad, the villain, the monster villain, whatever big bad, Kilo Khan, the master of the digital realm. He's Tim Curry.
I love the way he says that.
That tells you everything you need to know about him. He's voiced by Tim Curry.
He is just Tim Curry on his weekend.
He's stock Tim Curry villain. I think the only thing he really does differently as a Tim Curry villain is his laugh. Because he's got that weird, like, not like his normal, like, I can't really do the Tim Curry laugh.
The only thing he doesn't do is go, spice! Actually, that would have been hilarious, wouldn't it? If it was like, oh, we're going to cyberspace. That would have been fucking incredible. Missed opportunity, guys. Go back and redo it in the 90s. Actually, I don't even think that movie came out in the 90s, did it? I don't remember.
Wasn't that Wing Commander? No, that was fucking, not Wing Commander. It was Command and Conquer.
Oh, I don't know then. But yeah, so Kilo Khan, he's great. He's kind of just a stroppy asshole, just like Malcolm, only he can actually do shit. Like, overall, the plots of the show are something petty happens to Malcolm, or Malcolm is just really fucking petty, and that's it. There's never really anything that's big that happens. I think the biggest thing that ever actually happened was the nuke. Before the finale was the nuke. And that was just out of nowhere.
Yeah, and
for me, like, watching it, like, and after everything, Kilo Khan's just like, I just want you to send fucking nukes. And Malcolm's like, what? What?
Like, I don't want to send nukes. I want to do something really stupid and petty. And then
but I want to kill everyone.
Gets tired. It's like,
Kilo Khan.
Fine, fuck it. I'll send the nukes. You just sit on your ass and do whatever. I'll take over the world.
It's great. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's hard to talk about this without talking about individual episodes that we all saw that I like.
Yeah.
But I think because of that, I can get into my theory. And, okay, this could either be the simplest explanation of just Occam's razor, or I'm right. And either one I don't know, and I don't know if I want to know the answer to. It's the fact that this show feels like it was written by somebody way fucking smarter than I give them credit for. Because while there are many points where they say dumb jokes and, you know, kiddie humor and stuff you would hear on Power Rangers and shit like that, there's about 400 different jokes and 400 different other lines that just, I don't think we're meant for a kid's show. Like, at all. Like, remember the episode where Sydney's hand gets fucking, like, possessed? And she's pinching Jennifer's ass. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
that would never happen on Power Rangers.
There's references to stuff that, like, kids would have never heard of, like obscure metal bands and The one wasn't.
Get yourself some white zombie feeties.
I think what's her name? Miss Starkey or something. The lunch lady. She starts talking about fucking I spit on your grave. Like Jesus.
Yeah.
What the hell? What is this show?
There's one point where I'm pretty sure they play it off by it being distorted, but I'm pretty sure the original line was just her saying sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Unless it was something censored, but you know what she means, bud. Like, fucking hell. Like, it's great. And again, and that's not even like the most of it, because there's times, and I think you notice this as well, where, especially, I think mostly in the early episodes, they had this thing where a character would say a jokey line or a quip, but they wouldn't react to it, they wouldn't dwell on it, it would just be said and then that's it, just go on, just move on to the next line. Like, nobody reacts to it, it's just a line that gets shot out. It reminds, and I swear to God, I need to explain myself because nobody's ever going to think I would have made this connection. It reminds me of the really weird, like, minor banal dialogue from fucking Ghostbusters.
And
it really did.
The casual kind of like,
yeah,
banter.
Like just out of there, just like, oh, this is a line that someone just said. It's not really supposed to be funny. It's just out there, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why? Why? Like, it catches you so off guard.
I don't see it, but I can kind of get what you're coming at.
There's a few times where it does happen, and it just catches you so off guard. Like, there's this one time, one of the lines that Miss Starsky, whatever she says, whatever her name is, she says, "Oh yeah, I remember one of these. I got these for my 18th birthday last month." But nobody reacts to it. Nobody says anything. It just happens. And I'm like, what? No one's gonna say anything? No one's gonna say that happened?
Yeah, there's a lot of like offhanded jokes and quips like that just like they don't get a reaction because it's, I don't know what it is. Maybe their character is just like in universe is just used to it, or it's just like we're not supposed to like dwell on it. It's just supposed to be like a rapid fire bit. I like it though. It's a neat little thing they do with the.
But see, that's the weirdest part about it though. Like, that's the weirdest part about those lines is that, was it the director or the writer saying, no, just don't pay attention to it. Just say it and that's it. No one reacts. No, none of that weird shit. Just there. And that's why I'm saying, like, a lot of these plots and a lot of the stuff written in this show feel like it was written by somebody who didn't want to write this show, but did it out of a dare. And they were just like, let's see what I can get away with. Like, how many times in the show did they have, like, Doritos or Coca-Cola or Pepsi or something? And it's like, I don't think you have permission for those, guys. Like, I don't think you're allowed to show those logos without getting permission. And there you go. You're just doing it.
I mean, I don't think so. Maybe. I don't remember how that works exactly. But yeah, it's...
You do need permission to show the logo. I know that. If not, you have to pay money.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe there was Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad Pepsi we don't know about.
Maybe that's where all the fucking budget went, is the product placement that nobody's going to notice. Because the show doesn't have a budget otherwise.
Like how Alita Battle Angel had Arizona Iced Tea as a fucking sponsor. And nobody would have noticed. Oh my god. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many points in this show where I'm just like, did they know what they were putting in there, or what? Like the one where Sam is having nightmares. I mean, just call it what it is. Fucking bondage gear. We have his girlfriend, Miss Starsky, and the principal.
Oh yeah.
Talk about Pride Month, guys. Oh! Hey-oh! No. I could only do that once a month. Woo! Oh. I got it in there in the end. But yeah, like, he had, like, these weird, like, again, like, dominatrix leather outfits, and you knew what they were insinuating with the whip and everything, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Who wrote this? Like, actually, thinking about that, maybe I should look that up. Let me see. Who wrote this? Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. Okay. IMDb. It was written by... Apparently, according to IMDb, it's still ongoing. It's still apparently ongoing.
I wonder if what universe that IMDb page is from. Imagine the universe where Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad kept going and Power Rangers didn't.
For the rest of its life.
Oh my god.
Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad.
They're still reusing the same footage.
Let's see. Let me see. I want to see who wrote it, though. Cast? No, this is just a cast. It's written by... Fuck. Who wrote this goddamn show? I want to see. Written, narrated by Gary Owens. Maybe Wikipedia will tell me. Plots. Writer.
I found it
No,
right
it doesn't give me an actual writer.
Jim McGowan and Mark Zaslov are listed as the most episodes, so I would assume one of those two. What the hell?
Post the names. Maybe I can find what's going on with these guys. Because again, this is just hilarious. Oh, I'll just... Actually, wait a minute. They have links to their names. Let's see what they got. Jim Mahjong spent 17 years at Walt Disney. He produced children's records. And then he went to Story Edit and wrote Disney's Gummy Bears, DuckTales, Chippendales, Tailspin, Darkwing Duck, Goof Troop, Quack Trap, and the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. He also did a Goofy movie? What?
Oh, that would explain it. This guy's great.
He did two Casper movies, Archie's Weird Mysteries, and All Dogs Go to Heaven. What the fuck? Oh, and just in case you didn't have another little stab in you, he also directed one of the Titanic animated movies.
Oh, no.
So there you go.
Oh, okay. No, this is not the one with the octopus, but it's the one with the mice. Okay.
Okay, so here's another one.
Oh, no, it's the one with the rapping dog. Fuck. Oh, no.
Mark Zaslov. He wrote a little bit for Marvel Studios, Hanna-Barbera. He did some GoBot shit. New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, so that's pretty much where I'm pretty sure where he met them, where he met the other guy. He did some storyline for the Mighty Max toys. Let's see, the Legend of Calamity Jane, Shaolin Chronicles. He wrote the shitty Shaolin Showdown. Oh, here we go. Now we know why it's so great. He was a consultant on Lazy Town.
Oh yeah.
So obviously, 10 out of 10. And he made a short Tales of a badass IRS agent. What the fuck?
Oh man.
So I don't know if these guys are actually that smart. Maybe they were just fucking stupid and they just threw shit in there. I'm not sure.
I know Darkwing Duck is pretty kick-ass, so...
we don't know what episodes of Darkwing Duck he wrote, so...
Either way. But yeah, I mean, the writing is surprisingly good. A lot of it kind of misses due to the... Obviously, this is a kid's show. We kind of have to dumb stuff down, but... And there's, the lame quips that the heroes get and the lame fight dialogue and stuff like that, but... I mean, other than that, it's...
I tuned out the fight dialogue, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, a lot of it is boring. The fights are kind of boring to watch, mostly because I've already seen Gridman, so it's just the Gridman fights, but with really awful dialogue and bad effects.
Well, I was actually gonna mention that, because I've never seen Gridman, but I found myself fast-forwarding to the human parts way more than the Gridman shit. Like, I didn't care about the fights. The fights were so boring after a while, I kind of just tuned them out. Like, the only fight I think I really paid attention to was the Kilo Khan fight at the end. See, everything else was just like,
See, and that's the thing, is that, like, when I'm watching Gridman, the fights are interesting, and I'm watching those, and they're compelling and interesting to watch, and then here it's just, I don't care about the fights. They're boring. Oh, whatever.
But is that a detriment or a plus to this show? Because we'd rather watch the humans because they're way more entertaining than the actual fight scenes.
I would say both, but for different reasons. It's detrimental because, well, you're a superhero show. obviously the thing that you're trying to sell the most are your superhero fights with the giant monsters, and when they're boring to watch for whatever reason, you're kind of failing to do your job. But at the same time, it means that your other stuff is actually good, and that's a benefit to your writing skills there. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, like it's actually interesting to watch. Again, I say that's, at least to me, that's a good thing. To me, at least. Because that at least shows that I'm much more... Then again, I don't know because, I'm an adult, so maybe it's different to a child. But to me, like, I was much more invested in the storylines that we had with the actual humans. Like, I was much more interested in Malcolm than, like, any of the fucking fights. Though, can we just say that Malcolm is totally in the wrong fucking, like, market here if he's drawing, like, monsters that fucking good?
I mean, you know what's funny is that there's because that's the thing is it's similar to Gridman there, where the monsters are created by Takeshi draws it out, and he scans it into his computer, and Khan creates it with his powers. And Malcolm does the same here, and his artwork is super detailed, and it's professional skill level, and it's really, really good looking. And everybody's like, oh wow, this is actually pretty cool. And in both shows, he's like, I don't give a shit about being cool for my art. I want to fucking make monsters and ruin everybody's days. And it's one of the nice little similarities there between Takeshi and Malcolm, is that they're both very similar characters, but there's just the one or two things that make them different enough where it's still interesting. And I think one of the big things there too is how the scheme of the week usually falls apart. Or, like I mentioned, it's usually something petty happens or something like mild happens, and then they overreact. And then the difference there is Takeshi is like, oh, I was personally inconvenienced or mildly annoyed by something, so I'm gonna make a monster and immediately jump to 11 on the scale of retribution and go completely fucking bonkers and try to murder people. And Khan Digifer is just like, hell yeah, bro, let's do it. Bam, made the monster. Whereas with Malcolm, he's like, I was personally humiliated in a very petty way, so I'm gonna create a monster to do a very petty thing for petty reasons. And Kilo Khan's like, that's a good idea, but how about we do this instead and ruin everybody's day? No, I don't want to do that. I want to do my thing. Fine, I'll make the monster.
I want to ruin my own thing.
I want my own retribution, not yours, goddammit.
Though I will say, as far as villains go, Kilo Khan, I mean, he's a very generic, like, one-note villain, but I think it makes it work because if you try to give any sort of, like, I don't know, motivation to Kilo Khan, it really wouldn't make sense. I don't know, it just felt like it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with Khan Digifer as well, where he's really kind of like a background villain for most of the show. Really, all he does is, like, he'll show up to make the monster and talk to Takeshi, and that's about it. And only very frequently will he ever be like, hey, here, how about you just go kill people for me, huh? How about that, buddy, huh? Whereas here, it's, Khan directly is trying to get Malcolm to help him take over the world or blow up the world or whatever, and he has to deal with him being a petty little bitch. And I think that's the thing there, is that with Kilo Khan, he shows up specifically to, they both show up to take advantage of the fact that they're weirdo outcasts who are trying to make evil virus monsters, and they make them real. But the thing is that Kilo Khan is directly doing it for his own gain, whereas Khan Digifer is just kind of like, I'm just going to let you have fun and help you make monsters, and maybe occasionally I'll ask you to do something to help me take over the world, but we'll get to that later, whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're really, really generic villains, and that's about it.
But yeah, like I said, for me personally, I don't think, the everything in the shows that we say, it sounds like we're beating on it because, oh, it's crap. But, like, it's, even if it's bad, it's not bad in the sense that I was bored or that I want to turn it off. It was enjoyable, like honest to God enjoyable for a lot of it. And it's coming from a show like this that was literally just made to cash in on Power Rangers. I don't know how much more of a compliment you can give it at that point.
Oh yeah, no, you got a point right there. And because that's the thing too, is that like the only positive things I can say about like the Gridman related stuff also apply to Gridman, and that's more just because Gridman is awesome and not because this show really does anything interesting with it. Because whenever they get to like the fight scenes when they have to incorporate the footage, it's always really kind of lazy, or it's boring. And I think a lot of that has to do with them shoehorning in the Power Rangers element, where because he's got like the support vehicles and like the AI buddies and the robots and stuff. And
they didn't even fucking wait to get those introduced.
No, I mean, fucking Gridman, they took their time to do it. But here in the Superhuman Samurai, we get the final form in the first fucking episode, pretty much.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they don't give a fucking chance. They're just like, nope, everything in now, every fucking form. And by the way, here's a sword that's based off a hot dog.
And you know what? I suppose that's why the fights end up being so boring. Is that there's no stakes, because you already know he's got all this. The heroes already have all this weaponry, and they've got all this equipment and all this, crazy stuff. Whereas in Gridman, the fights are tense because, he doesn't have any of this weapons. He doesn't have any of the support vehicles or anything like that. He's got his own powers, but even he's got his own, Gridman has limited energy himself, so he's not like, he can just blast the monsters instantly and they die. He still has to fight. And I think that's a big reason why the fights are so boring in Cyber Squad, is because there's no stakes, because you already know they've got like 8 other power-up forms they can use if the fight gets to the point where, oh no, the hero's on his last legs, we need to...
And usually he doesn't even need to.
No,
he doesn't even need to use all of them, just one.
And again...
just one is good enough, and it's crazy.
Yeah. And again, I think that's to blame, where they don't use the Gridman footage in sequence. They kind of like pick and choose when to use the fights. Like, there's times where monsters that were, like, endgame monsters show up early in the show, and then you have, like, the first 2 episodes showing up, like, way near the end. It's
Now I do wonder how much of that is due to the studio and how much of that might be Subaraya just being like, well, people complained about this being too slow, so make it faster.
Well, no, I mean, I don't think so, considering the weird state that Gridman is in, and I suppose if we ever talk about Gridman, we can get more into that there, but it's kind of weird production cycle. I'm not sure. Maybe not. It's something to look into, maybe, but from what I can recall...
again, like, because like you said, like, Subaraya was really close with them in the production of this, so I wonder how much of that was them and how much of that might have been just a production company themselves, because we don't know. And because again, as much as I sing the praises of the show, we don't know anything about it. Like, there's really no behind the scenes. There's really no like actual stories of the show. Like, I'm pretty sure we can ask the guy who played Sam, but I mean, he's actually like an actor.
He has
he's
like
not
an
someone
actual
who just
career
fucked off.
now, so he's never going to talk.
Well, he had a career before. He was on Boy Meets World.
That's true, yeah. I mean, there is like one story that I've heard, well, like one or two, they're kind of the same story. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure how true they are, and it kind of has to do with information known about Gridman itself, so I'm not entirely sure what the source of, or the legitimacy of it is. But I don't really know, to be entirely honest.
Like I said, like, I would like to at least, even if it's not one of the actors, just one of the people on production, just to interview them to see, oh, what was it like? What was it like all around? Because it's because the screen is very different from what's going behind the curtains, of course. So, so I would like to know, like, what was it like? What exactly? Where did you go from there? And again, it's kind of like the same feeling I get when I talk about writer shows, in the sense that we will more than likely never know what happened behind the scenes.
No, not really.
And it kind of sucks because I would like to know some stories. What was it like in there? I mean, it seemed like they had a blast, but I mean, for all the little bit of money they actually had.
Well, most of them did. That's one story I've heard. Even that's kind of like a one-line story at best. So,
like, did one of the actors actually say that? Or?
No, well, allegedly, I've seen the quotes from him, but I couldn't never find a source, so I'm not sure if it's legit or not. But the guy who played Malcolm apparently once said that the guy who played Amp fucking hated being on the show and hated every second of it, which makes sense considering things that happened in that last bit where you stopped. Which I suppose we can talk about the ending for a little bit, or the lack thereof of a legitimate ending.
Wait. So he hated it because of what he was doing towards the end?
No, it's just that he hated. I'll explain it in a little bit, but basically that he hated being on the show, and things that happen later on in the show, it makes sense, is what I meant.
Oh, okay. Keep going then.
So, the show has an ending, and then it doesn't. So what happens is they do the big two-parter. It's a Christmas special, and it's the ending. The plan for the show is there's going to be 39 episodes, like Gridman was. Or at the very least, that's the story. I've heard this said, but again, I couldn't really find a legitimate source. I've seen people say it, but couldn't prove it. But considering how the show handles it, it makes sense. So, the show has an ending where they use the final episode of Gridman. And it's relatively kind of similar in that Kilo Khan finds where Sam's house is, and he finds this, computer and all that, and he fucks with his friends, and he, fries their brains or whatever, and Malcolm finds out, they both find out, oh, you're the villain, oh, you're the hero, kind of thing, whatever. They do something that's kind of fucked up, where, Sam, uploads himself into the computer, but his body dies, and he gets, stuck in the computer, and it's kind of, fucked up and weird and dark. And then he's
it kind of is, because even he says in the show, I don't think I can actually go back into my body anymore.
Yeah, granted, I don't know how he figured that out, because he's just, immediately, he gets sent in the computer, the final fight, he's like, I can't leave, guys. This is it for me. I'm basically dead. Hey, Malcolm.
No, see, what I took that as, and again, this is really fucking dark compared to, what happens at the end. What I took that as is everybody else was actually already dead. His friends were dead. Sydney, Tank, Amp, they actually died. And since they died, he kind of assumed, well, I'm also dead because he basically fried my brain. My brain doesn't work anymore. So that's what I think happened. Think of it kind of like the Guyver thing, when you rip the little, thing out of his head, it regenerates into him again. That's what I think happened. But, of course, the ending kind of fucks that all up.
Yeah, they don't really focus on it, because it's they defeat Kilo Khan and the day is saved. But it's well, I mean, I'm still stuck in here. I'm basically dead, guys. I can't go back. You're gonna have to figure this out on your own, because I can't do anything, guys. I'm stuck in here. But thanks for helping me save the day. And then it's he flies, a weird spark shoots off into space or whatever. And then immediately everybody's fine, and they're all back to normal, and they forgot everything that fucking happened in the finale. It seriously, within the span of seconds.
To be fair, it almost seems like they forgot everything that happened in the show proper.
Maybe. I'm not sure, because there's an immediate reset button of everything that happened in the finale. In the same episode, by the way.
Yeah, they couldn't even wait.
They couldn't even wait till another episode. No, they immediately ruin what could have been an actually decent ending, because they wanted to keep the show going. It's okay, so you know how with Mighty Morphin Season 1, the original plan was they were going to do 40 episodes and end it with the Doomsday one, where it's kind of, they mirror the Sentai ending, where, they defeat Rita and they trap her again. And they decided near the end of near the last second that, okay, we're going to keep the show going because it's, making more money than we thought. And they didn't have enough time to, like, fully re-edit the episode, so there's still some weird lines where Zordon's just like, oh yeah, Rita's maybe still around there, but you guys, you want to, like, retire now? We don't need you anymore, even though Rita's, still alive. We haven't really stopped her or anything. And it's kind of awkward. They do that, but, like, way, way, way worse. And it's really noticeable.
Well, I mean, it's noticeable to even me, like, seeing it, because, like, at the end when you see Malcolm, at least they hinted sort of at it, but then again, I'm pretty sure that was added in post.
They at least did enough where they justified Kilo Khan got deleted, but now he's back, because they had a scene at the beginning of the first part where he's backing up his computer, which for some reason includes Kilo Khan, and I always love early 90s stuff when you have your big bad computer villain that can fit on like 1 or 2 floppy disks. Very impressive.
Kilo Khan is actually only 200 megabytes.
I mean, he's powerful enough to kill people in the real world, but he fits on a floppy disk, or whatever.
But yeah, like, at least they added that, but I think they might have added that after the decision to keep the show going. That might not have been there.
It probably is, considering how the rest of the episode plays out and how it's.
But was the show even making that much money for them wanting to go at past 39?
I guess so. It seems like it. I mean, they wouldn't keep it going anyways, so I'm not entirely sure.
Strange.
Like I said, it's kind of weird. There's no real, like, legit source. But considering what is known and what can be found, it makes sense. Either way.
Again, this is just one of those fucking things that I kind of wish we would have known. We would have seen.
So, that's about it. So the show, like, has an ending, and then it doesn't, and it just kind of keeps going. And it's just way, way worse after that point, because all the episodes after that point are just, like, they're not at all interesting. Amp leaves the show after that episode, by the way. That's what I was getting to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he immediately, the very next episode, he's gone. He fucking quit. They replaced him with some... I don't remember his name. I think it was, like, Lucky or something, but he's, like, the most boring, generic surfer bro you can imagine. And this is 1994, so imagine a absolutely painfully generic surfer bro in the 90s.
Shaka, bruh!
Yeah, basically. Also, I guess Amp's an alien, too, so whatever.
What?
Oh, yeah, apparently he's an alien or something. I don't know. They kind of, half bring it up, where he's like, oh, well, he just kind of, his family just packed up and left in the middle of the night, whatever. And then they find in his locker, it's like, they find a postcard from him, and it's like, greetings from, some fucking space nebula. I don't remember. It's like, greetings from space or something. And what the fuck? Why is this necessary?
What?
I thought this was a good idea.
What?
Yeah. Man, when you told me you weren't doing any more than Beyond That, I was like, oh man, I can't wait till I tell him about this. Oh my god.
I am so confused.
But yeah, they replace Amp, and he's way worse. And then nothing really.
I could probably guess.
There's 1 or 2 interesting episodes. They do the obligatory alternate universe where everybody's different episode, where Malcolm's a normal person and he's not evil, but Kilo Khan's still there for some reason. He's working with the principal's daughter because why not? I don't know. It kind of.
I guess.
We can't afford new people, and it wouldn't make sense to use one of the main characters. So whatever. Yeah, it just kind of stops being good after that point. I don't really know.
So I wonder what did Amp do afterwards? He did something called Nightstand with Dick Dietrich, and then he stopped basically doing anything at 1999. Let me see.
Basically, everybody that isn't Tim Curry and the main kid stopped doing anything after the 90s.
Really?
Pretty much. I think what's the girl's name? I already forgot her name. the main
Sydney.
Sydney. She's in like one or two things as like a bit character in like 2010 or something, but like everybody else is pretty much like a no.
Well, I mean, like everybody else that like. Oh, let's see. I can see that the. Because on IMDb, the way you know that nobody's done anything isn't that they don't actually have a picture of them. Let's see. Sydney, she was in something in 2001. Didn't matter. The principal, he was in something as early as 2019, actually.
Yeah, I mean, the principal and Miss Starkey.
Jay. He was in Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Oh, what a career highlight.
Like, fuck Little Rascals, fuck Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Man, I keep forgetting that's a real movie that actually happened.
Oh my god, it looks so bad, and I want to watch it.
No.
He was on something called Chocolate News. What is that?
I don't want to know.
I'm sorry. A magazine show parody. Okay, I'm gonna stop reading now. Oh, okay. Let's look at what his daughter did. She was in something in 2019 too. She's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh yeah. All right.
The Fosters.
Well,
at least she did something. And everybody else, like Tank and shit, they're just, I guess, dead.
Maybe not.
What kind of fucking person names their kid Tanker?
I don't know. That's the weird thing is that, like, the show, everybody calls him that, even the principal. So it's like, is that his real name? Or
That's his real name, Tanker.
Is the principal just that cool where he's going to call the kid his nickname? Like, I've seen 90s shows where that happens, so it's not that far-fetched, but it's still weird.
He was in a movie called My Life as a Troll. Wait, I need to read the fuck. Oh my god, speaking of Pride Month. Finding a girl for your buddy should be easy, but what if you wanted a guy?
10 out of 10.
A heartwarming human story of a man's journey to self-acceptance. It has the warmth of Good Will Hunting and the humor of Birdcage? What the fuck?
What the fuck is Birdcage?
What the fuck is this movie? It looks so bad. It has a 5.1 on IMDb. This is so good.
But yeah, like many of these shows, half the cast went on to be complete nobodies, and you had like the one person who ended up being famous. Like you do.
Besides Tim Curry.
Well, besides Tim Curry and the lunch lady, but she died very shortly after, and her entire career was before this point, so it doesn't really count.
Yeah, 1943 she was born.
Yeah, damn.
Actually, she wasn't really that old, was she? She was probably like in her...
She was, 68?
She was going... I think she was probably going towards 70.
She died in 2001, so she was like 68, 69-ish. I don't know.
Oh, sad. But yeah, I don't know. So just... It's kind of sad seeing that not really anybody went on to do anything. I mean, I kind of wish fucking Malcolm at least went on to do something.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame because
that guy has a voice that I believe would be good for like voice acting, because a lot of the people in this were voice actors that we know nowadays.
Well, there's like one. There's like Neil Ross does like one of the monsters.
Well, Soshi. How do you say her name? The girl who played Phil and Lil and Lola Bunny.
Kath Soucie.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, but she already had a career before that, so that doesn't really count.
I guess so. I mean, it's good to see that some of them went on to do something.
Yeah, that is valid. I don't know. There's I think that's kind of everything. It's decent. It's not like that great, but it's definitely.
Go watch it.
I'd say if you've seen Gridman, or at least plan to see Gridman, give it a watch at some point, just for like the absurdity of it, or I guess not as absurdity, comparison. I don't know.
Absolute 90-rificness.
Yeah.
I will, you know what, I will be a bit more, I will go a little further than you. I will give this show a recommendation.
I mean,
I give it a recommendation.
I liked it, but it's like, I mean, Gridman is still better, and
Well, yeah,
Well,
but I give this a recommendation. But if you feel the need to skim, don't worry about it. You can do that. It won't. I won't think bad of you because it's fine to skim through here and there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is not a show where you need to watch. There's no deep lore here. You don't need to watch every episode.
Also, don't marathon it the way I did because you actually will get tired of it.
Yeah, it's definitely not a
Yeah,
this is not a show to
you'll get tired of it fast.
Not a show to shotgun at all.
I mean, if you want to, you're a braver man than I am. But there you go. All right. So, with that being said, let's spin that motherfucking wheel.
All right, guess we'll spin the wheel then.
Spin, spin, spin. I am spinning.
One.
If this was a video podcast, you would actually see the wheel spinning. But unfortunately,
you don't. Be able to pay like a guy $5 to have a shitty little like cartoon wheel spinning.
We'd have a guy every week. We'd put a video of him online, and it's just like, all right, let's just spin the guy. Just spin him. Like he actually has like a fucking wheel and she spins it. I would like that.
Oh yeah.
That would be amazing.
Maybe if we
all right, so maybe if we had money. Too bad. Let's see. Is this it? Wow, that's loud. I'm glad nobody can actually hear that. Okay, so next week we are doing this. Space Squad Episode 0 Goes in Trouble.
Oh, hell yeah.
I have no idea what I'm in for, but let's do that.
It's, fuck is his name?
I'm ready. I'm ready for this. If this is a porno, then I'm ready for anything.
Well, AJ, let me tell you this.
Phil's going to have a boner the whole time.
It's directed and, I think, written by Koichi Sakamoto. That should tell you everything you need to know.
But who is it written by?
Actually, it might be Arakawa. Like Space Squad.
It should be written by Inoue.
Well,
actually, that would be awful. Don't do that.
Yeah, no. Well, to quote Decayello, this is definitely a Koichi Sakamoto production. That should tell you everything.
I'm going to enjoy this movie. Or show. Actually, is it a movie? How long is it?
It's like 40 minutes, I think. I don't remember.
It's 54 minutes? That's not too bad. Yeah, you know what? I'm in. Let's do that. All right, so next week, let me say that title again because I'll never get tired of it. Space Squad Episode 0 Goes in Trouble. I feel like I'm asking to go into a porno theater.
Again, it's Koichi Sakamoto. You wouldn't be surprised.
Well, all right, so with that being said, we'll see you guys. Oh, wait, no, I have to say the outro first. As always, that's Jay.
Bye.
That's me. Bye. If you like what you heard, please give us a follow on Podbean. Give us a little follow on Spotify. And apparently Podbean is now automatically uploading our podcast to YouTube.
Yeah,
so,
I saw that, and I was like, wait, when the hell did that happen?
So I didn't know that was a thing you could do. So I guess we'll be on YouTube as well.
We're back to YouTube, guys. Except this time
inadvertently.
We're a little better production value.
We're back to YouTube, except I don't actually have to edit shit.
Hell yeah.
And with that being said, I guess that's it for tonight, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
And stop.